Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. We are continuing on with Act 4 today. We got a lot of mysteries in store. We've managed to break Adira, break down the door in Adira's mind. We did a lot of companion stuff the other day. We broke down the door in Adira's mind. We sacrificed Urilet to Slanesh. And today our plan, I believe, was to go up through Langren's Belt, Mundus Nullius, try to get Solomorn and do some of this stuff up north before we wrap our way back down to Footfall and the main quest line there. So let's hop right to it this morning and start warping around. New stages of development at the old Vabos 7-6. Lord Captain Vabos begs for help. Something terrible prowls the planet, searching for a way to wipe out the planet's inhabitants. Victims are dying in small groups at first, so we dismissed it as simple accidents. A poisoning, a clash, transport, a fire. But the death toll has started to rise, and explaining everything as mere coincidence is no longer an option. The enemy appears to be testing out different methods of killing your subjects, like it's looking for the most efficient way to murder as many of them at once as possible. Our pick traps catch something slight of a blurry dark shadow walking among the people, but no one's actually seen it with their own eye. What kind of accidents are happening? Various sorts of mechanical failures, ventilation systems emitting substances that have no businesses of being there, auspexes registering spikes of radiation, maintenance systems shutting down for no good reason. Resembles extermination experiments with your servants playing the role of test subjects. A predator walks among your people. Well, it's time we become predators ourselves. Your servants can't see it, they don't know where the lair lies, but I will tell you how to find it. You need to spark the beast's curiosity. Leave it something it craves out in the open and mark it so that you can track the beast and it's carrying the bait away in its jaw. This is how we hunt cunning prey on Fenris. You call it your enemy, but you are mere pests in its eyes. This isn't war, this is extermination. You are a nuisance, and that is your asset. Understand what it is you do that vexes it so much, and you'll understand how to drive it mad. All that will be left then is to lay a trap. Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined. Both of these are just like lay a trap, you know? One is lay bait, the other one is lay demolitions. I'm going to take the 100% option here. Nick, Liam, good morning, good morning. I believe in you. Being irritating comes naturally to Monkey. Hey, told you not to call me that. Assuming that the creature has been angered by the mining efforts, the Overseer's increased work shifts in remote sectors. The assumption proves to be correct, and the beast comes to destroy those who had disturbed its rest and walked right into the traps laid out for it. Wounded, it fled. Cornered to its den, the monster fought its final battle and was slain. It was a terrifying Xenos with a metallic skeletal body and a single emerald eye. Its lair turned out to be a crypt-like chamber, and beneath it was an entire fortress buried in stone. The walls were covered in glyphs similar to the mysterious patterns that the Mad Convicts has been drawing. This is a Necron. Oh my god. I'm also naturally irritating. It is relatable. This is true. This is very true. The chamber also contained the dissected remains of the missing miners. The Omnissiah's servants studied the body, the crypt, and the Xenos corpse, hypothesizing that the Inhuman belonged to a caste of sages. It had remained in stasis for ages, untold, but had been recently awakened either by the mining or the explosions caused by the Drukhari invaders. After killing everyone who approached its lair, the creature tried to wake its brethren, but millennia of tectonic shifts had crushed the underground fortress, and the creature was alone. Whenever the wearer ends their turn, they deal 12 energy damage with inked armor pen to all adjacent creatures. If the number of creatures exceeds 3, the wearer suffers the staggered effect. The fearsome insects, the ones that assailed the colony, were the only tools the Xenos had left, so they chose to lie in wait. But when the heretics of the Final Dawn sabotaged the fortress's reactor in an attempt to destroy the planet, the Xenos grew restless and started searching for a way to exterminate the humans. Now the last Xenos survivor was dead, and so was his entire race. Or at least so prayed every Denzian on Vabos 6. That certainly sounds like it was a Necron fortress. But also shifting tectonic plates would not necessarily break a Necron fortress, so I'm a little bit worried about that. Vabos is done. We've completed every single colony project here. Fantastic. Janus is underway, Kiava Gamma's underway, and Dargonis is also complete because we can't do Bastion. So all of that is very, very good for us. I'm thinking that item might go okay on Pascal. Ooh. When they end their turn, they deal 24 energy damage to all adjacent creatures. All adjacent creatures, so that includes allies. Nah, man. Honestly, the Warlord's Amulet's way better. It gives him, it gives everybody on my team 8% dodge. Can't really say no to that. I'm gonna go blast open these Drukhari void ships, which are not a combat. On the edge of a system, a few crippled Xeno ships, barely visible in the darkness of space, huddle together, not displaying any of the usual hostility. The Xenos are stuck in inactivity, entirely ignoring the rogue trader's presence. The Augur team has detected a number of damaged void ships, each afflicted with several system failures and bearing a few dozen living creatures. An attempt to identify the drive signature is met with failure, but the scanners pick up an exchange of data between the ships on an encrypted channel. Marazai recognizes these vessels as the Reaving Tempest Cabal by their silhouettes and markings. The news that his Cabal's warriors survived their insatiable kin's bloodthirst fills the Xenos with a grim resolve. Marazai turns to the rogue trader with a demand to leave the detected ships unharmed. The Xeno yearns to meet them in person. I guess we could let him do that. You never know what he might find on there. Maybe loot. Erlagan, hello. A shuttle carrying him returns so quickly to the rogue trader's vessel that it's impossible to tell whether the Xenos took part in failed negotiations or participated in a violent and impetuous duel. Offering no comment, he turns to the Lord Captain with a categorical request. Help the survivors and let them go. That would be unusual for me to do. They are Drukhari ships. But like, I'm generally willing to do things for rewards. Officers sent to oversee the trade along with his report that the exchange was successful. Some uncooperative Xenos were against it, but Marazai's deadly hand took their lives before the argument gained any weight. That's it? A single trophy? I'm sure they'll come back and bite us in the ass later, so we'll have to wait and see. Captain, we found a trail of the elusive Contempt, the ship that was sighted in Latoshian's Passage. If we go after the pirates right now, we can catch them before they slip away again. Oh yeah, we can do that. We just picked up a ton of profit factor here, so I'm guessing some more projects completed. Kabagama's orbital shipyard. Let them go on a plank. Not a bad idea. Mechanical trade blocks dark experiments. Probably want dark experiments. This one doesn't block anything and just gives me profit factor in exchange for mechanisms. We don't have a ton of mechanisms, but we got enough. Rep with explorers, rep with explorers. That's right. Can we? Take a quick poke around the bridge here. I just want to see what we can give the explorers because we got to get them up really high in order to unlock that. And I don't even know what we're at the moment. Ugh. We gotta get them up to like 50,000? Yeesh. We do have a lot of holy gifts. Can't believe I'm giving them all this stuff. They're not even a faction I really care that much about. If I give them everything, that's only 10,000. I have to get them up to 50,000 to unlock this. Just want to keep a couple of kits. Unbelievable. Oh, that's such an expensive trade. We do get a heavy plasma gun, but I don't think that's as good as the plasma gun we currently have. Yeah, these are all pretty low level stuff. This gives us... yeah, perception based. If the Kara is an Overseer, the first Overseer ability in a round costs 0 AP. Arc Rifle, that's not as good as the Arc Rifles we have. This wearer gains 1 AP for each consecutive turn they haven't moved. Stacks up to 5 times. That's actually not bad. Fell bonus, temporary wounds. 10 temporary wounds whenever we use an archetype ability. Here's the thing. It's very rare that my character moves. And giving me additional AP is actually pretty good. Who else? Pascal never moves, but he doesn't really need the AP. And Adira, there's no way I can replace any of her items. We'd have to get rid of that temporary wound bonus. You know, I guess like one of the flip problems of this is this requires consecutive turns, and that we mostly finish combat in 1 to 2 turns. So I think maybe we just hold it. Your plasma gun is, yeah, oh, it's insanely so much better than what we have here. I guess we just got to hope that we can do maybe some events that will get us the rest of what we need here. All right, so let's pick up Tools of Killing. Janus has completed The Lost. The Rosa Zamarkand. You have a handful of different things here. Payment in Organs, Secret Lair, and Scriptorum Schools. This will give us Casabelica bonuses for Xenotech. I think let's go with that one first. And then Vebos and Dargonis are both done. So let's head up to chase this space pirate. Mac, hello. If we don't finish fight in 2 turns, it usually means Turg died in the first round. Also very true. Very, very true. Unidentified ruins. Have we been here? It says already explored, so I'm going to say yes. Let's go talk to these pirates. See how this fight goes. A pirate flotilla has gathered in a system with an especially prosperous extractium. The Augur's crew reports that all void ships share the signatures with the elusive Contempt. You hear the familiar, cheerful voice from the box. Shelby, the proto-speculator, sighs theatrically. You're hot on his heels, coming between him and his fortune. The cargo ships are just about to take off from the planet, but the rogue trader himself wishes to rudely interrupt their plans. But that's quite all right. Shelby sounds thrilled by the sudden competition. The elusive Contempt's captain is ready to wait for his next opportunity, and for now, he'll leave you in the good company of his friends. You see the pirate flagship beginning to maneuver to escape into the warp. We can fire a broadside at him. Let's do that, 100%. Starboard batteries light up, firing a salvo. The missiles reach their target. Despite a direct hit, the elusive Contempt manages to slip away once more, but it won't recover from the damage anytime soon. All right, so I guess like when we actually fight it in the final fight, which will probably be the next time we fight it, it's going to start wounded.
Stars tremble. Imperium
What are we up against?
awakens.
Claymore class corvettes. Uno, dos, tres, catorces. All right. It's not too bad. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can actually jump straight through this guy. Which is a pretty darn good deal.
Let the Imperium
And
guide
if I
us.
go here, and trigger our expanded augers, we can also take a pot shot
Annihilate them.
at this guy with our howler cannons.
Send them into the cold
Honestly,
void.
might be able to kill this guy.
Eviscerate them.
That ain't too shabby, baby. Oh, I see. I can only launch missiles,
Send their
or I can only launch the
to the
bombers, I
void.
guess, on like the first round. I can't jump through you. Oh, I miscalculated that very badly. Flagship speed is increased by 2. Maneuverability is increased by 1. Bonus damage dealt by the ram increased by 100%. But if I do that now, will I still get speed? You're going to go for him. I could just warp wave him. You know what? Let's just do that. Why waste the good abilities? And then... Choo, 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 choo. I don't know that we need to cool down anything here. I guess we might as well drop the cooldown on that. Yeah, okay, he gets shot just a little bit. Shot, it instantly explodes. Dude, this pirate is... I mean, I'm glad he is a distraction, but boy, he is not much more than a distraction at this point. Somehow, I think that hit my side shield. Oh, if I can hit that with missiles. No, okay, they moved. Shield's holding strong, though. Ah, Meltas. Just out of range. That's into the side armor there. Though I tell you what, why don't we boost the Master of Etherics? Then we can auger, and we can hit him with a starboard battery instead.
On my enemies.
Archeo attack macro battery. Then I can ensure that my left side is actually being protected instead. Key usual. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. I don't know why I can't shoot my bombers. So we go here. I'm gonna say let's shoot him.
All of macro cannons. Let
And again.
incandescent beam scorch damage.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you. And then we got a couple of options for this.
Chart a course.
I think let's make it easy. We'll warp up on them. We can power up our better shields here then. We don't get the void cannon shut off, but that's okay because we do still have some melted torpedoes that might land. Those aren't gonna... None of this is gonna break our shields. Oh, it slipped through a little bit. I'm wrong. Other ship you can pick do anything different, or is it just a different ship? Skin? I believe you also get some slightly different weapons and more... It's better at ramming? But that's like the collector's edition ship you're talking about.
Unleash our wrath upon my enemies.
Go.
Eviscerate them.
That guy's toast.
Another victory for the von Valancius dynasty.
Nice. And our ship level's up as well, which is ever so good. We got 2 more ultimate abilities. I guess let's take all hands on deck. And then shield pulse, probably. I don't love the thought of using this, but it's like the only other ability we can actually upgrade, so. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have actually put Marazai here and given him Expeditious Reload as well, but flagship developments, active abilities. Oh, it's like all alts and stuff from here on out. All right, well. Still pretty successful. 215 to upgrade this. We might as well. Strafe we should take. A lot of time we need to move 1 or 2 tiles to the side. It's not a bad idea. Yeah. Mithras, hello. How we doing, dude? I think the problem is I want all the abilities, but I mostly just want to like level up our guys. That must have been Kiava Gamma. Tools of Killing. $52,445 with Casabalica. Secret Lair. Complacency, efficiency for profit factor and people. We'll take payment and organs first. $52,445. We're really close to that with Casabalica. Now, of course, I just gave away like everything we owned. Like a damn fool. $445. Okay, yeah, you are quite close. Oh, and you can take Xeno artifacts and melee weapons. Oh, hold on here. Oh, we might just be able to do this. That alone would give it to us. Blade Dancers. Every hit made with Blade Dance increases the wearer's critical hit chance by 10% until the end of their turn. End of their turn. I don't love end of their turn. A rifle that deals 33% to Drukari. Additional attacks equal to your psi rating. Nav staff. An Astartes bolt pistol. A couple of med kits. Wow, we have a lot of stuff here to get. Melee weapon equipped in both hands. The slash ability makes an additional melee attack with a secondary weapon. That's going to be really good on Marazai. If the wearer's target is suffering from bleeding, the melee attacks deal an additional 2% for each point of the target's agility bonus. That would also be very good on Marazai. Second use of a Psyker's Staff unique power deals additional damage. That could be good on us. Dance Macabre ability. That's the dash. The assassin dashes in a straight line. Does not stack with itself. Oh, this is just like you get the dash ability. That's kind of fun. A two-handed Alderi Flamer. Blackheart Cabal Cabalite armor. Not as good as what we have. Slayer's Delight. When you perform a single target attack with two-handed melee weapons, they deal extra damage. Grenades, drugs. Automatically passed any coercion tests. The second steel triad. Ignore cover efficiency. My god, there's so many things we have unlocked here. The incinerator. Critical hits inflict warp burn. That's fun. This pistol inflicts burning 10, bleeding 10, and toxin 10 on its targets. Wow. Whenever you fail a demolition skill, you can immediately re-roll it using agility instead of demolition. Bonuses to pushing targets. Melee attacks gain armor pin or add bleeding. An Adepti's chainsword. A new Drukhari thing that allows me to throw grenades. Drukhari crit gloves. Reduces the hit chance of all ranged attacks made against the wearer and their allies by resolve ×3. Wow, wow, wow. That was a lot of gear. We've almost maxed these guys out. This is medium iconoclast armor. Immune to critical hits as long as no party member has been prone. It's a weird one. I don't know if there's anything else we really want in here. The shock and awe could be nice for us. Though I wouldn't really say it's like make or break. It is like power level 18. Chaos Light Enforcer Carapace. 20% dodge against demons. 15 toughness if you're from a fortress world, which I don't think we are. I actually don't know where we're from. Two-handed light las. Acrobat tricks. Spend a stack of acrobat tricks to re-roll an attack equal to their movement points. Okay, Cabela could be kind of crazy with that. Would also probably be good for Mr. Inquisitor. Well, we don't keep Mr. Inquisitor around anymore, unfortunately. Unfortunately, maybe fortunately. Each point of the target's agility bonus. I don't know. The Pack of Regents is probably still the better option for him here. Whenever the wearer uses an attack that's a different type than the previous attack, they gain momentum or less damage from area attacks, and the first use of a grenade does not count. I do like the look of his other hat more, but I think this is probably the better option. Because then I can also give him grenades. Which is truly a whole other realm. Tech leprosy. I mean, there's so many different grenades that we have here. 35 to 70 modified crack grenades. Those might be 50 to 70 xenospasm grenades. All right, let's make sure we have a bunch of them on. Tech leprosy. So that's like my anti-tech grenade, I guess. Wraithbone does mental damage and 6 stacks of disturbed. Reduces the target's psi rating by 1. Okay. So we have 2 different types of regular damage grenades, and then we have like anti-tech and anti-psyker grenades. So let's go with that. I'm gonna just go through this like one by one here. If you fail a demolition skill, you can immediately re-roll it using agility instead of demolition. Or +5 lethality until the end of combat whenever you kill or skill. I got to keep that eye patch on you. It's just like too good. Now I have 4 different Drukhari gloves. Am I right on that? Wow. Every melee attack. He currently has every melee attack performed gives him armor. Each critical hit an enemy they killed gives you +2 damage. Ignore cover. Single target attack with a 2-handed weapon. You do extra damage. Or melee attack gains armor pen. And if their armor is less than or equal to the wearer's armor pen, the target must... Okay, we're going to give you these ones because they also cause things to bleed. If worn by a Death Cult Assassin, whenever you kill an enemy, that enemy explodes. Or each hit made by Blade Dance increases the wearer's critical hit by 12% until the end of their turn. Each hit made with Blade Dance. She hits like 6 times with Blade Dance. So that gives her a 100% crit chance. Every second use of a Psyker Staff's unique power deals 14 additional damage. Our Torment Bracers aren't really doing anything because we don't move people with them. So I'm going to take these Abyssal Conduits. And then these Slash Boots. Whenever you perform an area melee attack, they inflict bleeding on all hit creatures. The melee attack also deals bleed additional damage. If the wearer has a melee equipment, their slash ability makes an additional melee attack with a secondary weapon. Must not have Drukhari equipment. Oh, well, never mind. You can't wield that anyway. This Inquisitor's badge would be good for Solomon. I might as well give you all this Astartes equipment. Even though I don't love the idea of you becoming stronger. Navigator, you can get the fancy new nav staff. Not that you're wearing like any equipment you actually use. This sword is better, but it is less parry. And I don't really expect I'm going to be stabbing anything anytime soon. Flame weapon proficiency, the Bane of Sorrow. Okay. That's everything here. Hoo-wee. Now we can pick up Dark Experiments. So this will get us really good macro cannons, as well as crit chance against Xenos enemies. Or we can get really good shields from the Imperial Navy. Only ammunition. Rep with explorers, rep with explorers. I do like those shields. They are certainly better than the shields we have. No one gets the Tyrant pistol. Nobody's using pistols right now is kind of the problem. I guess I have a pistol slot. I still have that Melta pistol, so maybe I could use it. I don't know, man. Dark Experiments just does seem correct for me. Do I still have a pistol? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, why don't I use it? That's actually pretty good then. Let's keep boogieing. One more problem down. We got the one-way road rumor here. Which, if you'd be so kind to remind me, there's been an unsuccessful attempt to restore an abandoned colony. A colony ship went dark shortly after its arrival. I assume that has to be here? A ruined palace? I certainly don't feel like we've been here, so definitely not.
Powers unseen, uncover my path.
So what do we got going on here? Decree of gubernational will. By the grace of God, Emperor of mankind, we, Jamin Nigel von Powen, for the good of our world and deliverance of the people from the wrath of the heavens and fury of the distant stars, commend to provide the needs of the governor's office no fewer than 20 faithful young men and maidens in accordance with our instructions. Each seventh rotation around the heavenly body, robust and firm in body and spirit, voluptuous in shape, of similar height and stature, dainty and beautiful, fair of hair, and with eyes the color of midday sky. A blood-signed decree.
Perfection.
This palace is probably one of the oldest outposts in the Imperium.
Seize the opportunity.
This exploratory is blessed with multifunctionality.
Loot. More loot. Enforcer's light boots. Whenever the wearer parries, they immediately strike back at the attacker. If this attack deals damage, the wearer then performs kick and pushes them. Alright, well that's going on Abelard. Whenever the wheel deals damage with a heavy weapon to an enemy, they suffer perplexed. And Adeptus Astartes Cape. Abelard boots. Yeah, man. That's a pretty easy decision. We have a Bonebreaker Maul in here with a power swing and a harsh shove. Knocks people prone. And another Bonebreaker Maul here.
Intriguing.
Lots of bones to be breaking, I guess.
I can cut your eyelids for you to see better.
The tyrant needs to have a tyrant, right? I cannot go on like this, Helona. I cannot. I served my master loyally, as did my father, and his father before that, but this cannot continue. No, I'm tired. To bury the corpses of murderers and traitors to the Imperium is the noble thing to do, but now I must conceal the deaths of these innocent young men and women. They're almost children. Cursed be the day when the governor became ruler of this world. I will break this vicious cycle. It must be discontinued. This I promise. Tonight I will flee the estate, and together we will journey to the Star Speakers. They will warn the servants of the God Emperor about the heresy lurking in these walls, and will return to us. They will save us just in time. Wait until I return. I love finding heresy in the walls.
Would you look at that?
So there's a lot of servitors in here, and they don't look the friendliest.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
Though they also don't look hostile. So I guess let's scoot and loot as much as we can. And we'll probably have to fight our way out of here. They also all look like they're wounded. Not all of them, but most of them. Do a little scan around for anything. Oh. Hello, corrupted noble. A lushly dressed, vaguely human-like carcass sits reclined in a massive Calixian oak armchair. Calloused brownish blue patches cover the dead flesh, overlapping one another like snake scales. One of the hands, claws of exposed bone, supports a grotesquely bloated face. The creature's chest remains motionless and its eyes stay tightly closed, and yet the muscles on the distorted face twitch ever so briskly when you approach. It is not dead. It is dead, but in the wrong way. It's not... Cabela bows her head as if ashamed of her muddled explanation, then places a hand on her weapon. I ask your permission to fix that. Throw a grenade. Not sure if those boots are good dependent on situations. If you want Abelard engaged with the mob free from contact. Here's the thing. If he hits something, it becomes taunted. And then when it enters his space, he gets a free attack of opportunity on it. So he's just going to attack things constantly. Obviously I want throw a grenade, but if he's corrupted, it could be our kind of corruption. The creature's eyelids flutter open, searing you with an unnatural glow of yellowish pupils. The disfigured lips twist, stretching the smile wider and wider until the thin skin bursts with a sharp snap, revealing row after row of pointed teeth. Yep. A twisted guttural voice bursts from the creature's throat and it roars with laughter. Welcome to my feast. The creature idly jiggles its chin in an effort to remember human speech, its jowls melting into the shoulders and faintly glowing ribcage. A peculiar accessory shaped like a scarab and covered in luminous patterns has painfully lodged itself into the flesh of the creature, something that undoubtedly used to be a man. You've heard of powerful Xeno artifacts from the distant Halo stars, discovered by humanity millennia ago. Artifacts that belong to a race more ancient than the most venerable among the Eldari. This is an Old One's artifact? Artifacts most impure, fatally dangerous, forbidden in the Imperium on threat of the cruelest of tortures, and yet capable of granting the darkest of human desires, a mean to cheat death and embrace life eternal. That Halo device should not have gone to such a weakling. I will take it. The elucidator fails to interpret the twisted speech taking root in your mind like a pestilent weed. The creature contentedly smacks its lips. I will finally taste the savory flesh again.
The irregularity of your struggle amuses me.
Death to his enemies.
2,000? Man, they are really starting to get some HP. Depends on the amount of its wounds. If it has more wounds, if it has less than 40% of its wounds, it hits. Okay, so it starts with a ton of armor and it goes down over time. Suffers 20% toxic and fire damage. What else do you got here? Chooses a prey. Creatures with this effect suffer 50% more damage from the noble's effects. He regains wounds if he hits them. He will move to the nearest servitor with either searching for blood or searching for fear active. Whenever an attack deals damage to this creature, it gains weapon strength and skill. Switches negative effects. Unnatural immunities. Restores 5% wound for each creature with bleeding in combat. Suffers significantly more fire damage. Gains a permanent strength, toughness, agility, and perception. Uses agility instead of intelligence, and toughness instead of willpower, and strength instead of fellowship. Immune to injuries and traumas. Regenerates wounds per turn. Whenever you kill an enemy, any damage you deal is increased by 1% until the end of combat, while int, willpower, and fellowship are reduced by 1. Maybe I don't want that item. What if you go here, you go here, you go here. What if we do something like that? We're going to switch you to poison weapons because they should do some tox damage.
Slow and painful is the way.
Yeah, I reported this, but I am absolutely correct on it right now. These weapons are meant to do tox damage, but they don't. It's the Incubus Blade armor. Dodge, parry, critical hit, damage, 47 base. Yeah, there's something busted about this. So unfortunately, that means the only thing I can do to him is bleeding damage, which isn't really effective on him. Especially when he parries everything.
With grace and malice.
Ow! Okay, this guy's also got some nasty stats.
My precious
Oh,
has failed me.
feast preparations. Is that on me that triggered? Could be Necron related. It could be. Yeah, I mean, I guess even the Necrons are technically older than the Eldari. Big A, I guess you're going to be the guy to tank this. Let's go sworn enemy. Let's go stab.
Indeed.
Parry.
I will
Taunt.
do my duty.
Don't love these ranged guys. Don't love them one bit. Cabela. So you now get 12% on every blade dance. Wow, this guy is really hard to hit. He has 52 dodge, and yet he dodged 3 attacks in a row. No, he parried. Nine, 19, 17. Wow, 50% chance to parry, though. Also wasn't using the right weapons. That might have done something.
I shall not fail.
What's happening here? Dodged and parried. Parried despite melee superiority.
Trust me.
God, you landed at least one hit on him.
I need no guidance.
This will improve as we buff everybody, I hope.
Purpose guides me. Ruin beckons.
I hope. Let's light him on fire because we know he takes a ton of extra damage from that. I'm going to turn Cabela into a demon. I'm going to give Adira the bonus turn. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Just so we can get out the early buffs. Perils of the Warp did 83 damage. And then did 98 damage. And summoned a demonette, which now Pascal has to deal with. Push that demonette away. God damn it. God damn it, Adira. That wasn't what you was meant to do.
I need no guidance.
Well, I guess we'll trigger the Medicaid signal then. Scarabs, either Thousand Suns or Necrons. Well, they said it was older than Eldari, so it's probably Necrons if that's the case. You're going after Pascal. You dodged 500 enemy attacks. Achievement unlocked.
Flesh is weak, yet iron knows no pain.
All right, we're gonna pull the bolt. We're gonna claim the bounty on our free attack so that we can focus on just picking off like a combat servitor. I actually can't hit those guys out there. Let's hunker.
Request approved. The Omniscient knows all. Comprehend.
Oh, I guess I could banish some of these guys. Actually, might not be a bad idea. So maybe we'll just do a single shot if that's the case.
Significant value. Request approved.
They are machines after all. And well, we lay a trap. Why not? Parry. He sets off the trap and chooses the game, which I guess is Marazai. There's a good plasma shot here. There's also some good. Ooh, there's a lot of good stuff here. Let's cast Breakthrough. We're going to start by moving there. I know I'm going to get attacked. It's okay. Slash. Slash. Regular attack. These guys immune to bleeding here or something? Slash. Watch this. Slash. Bounce. That screwed up my plan. Slash. I was gonna slash to there and then slash back and also be able to be in that central position. Let's dance macabre. And then I'll say I think I'm just gonna cast Elusive Shadow and maybe Endure.
I've suffered worse.
I want this central spot free for Cabela. He is bleeding, so that would do extra damage, but you're also like having a hard time hitting anything right now, so maybe let's just go for the AoE.
It will be done. At your beck and call.
Then you could taunt the whole gang. And I could give some temp HP to Marazai, or I could pull Stalwart Defense here,
It will be done.
which might be a little bit better. Punch, punch, kick, kick. Does the Sanguine Staff still res, or was that fixed? I do not know that one, so I'm not certain.
A dance of blades and shadows.
All right, let's jump there.
The other side awaits.
Yeah, now we're talking big damage. Let's blade
As
dance.
honor, my blade whispers your name. Let your
So she for sure has a 100% crit chance right now.
caught by the web. Ha! Blade whispers
There ain't
your
no doubt about that. Upon landing, you deal 27 damage to adjacent enemy. Upon landing, you deal 28. I'm actually better off doing DOA with a single-handed weapon, which is
The
kind of
shadows will
nuts.
see it.
But those are some big hits. This is like guaranteed to crit, so I wonder, should I just use that? That's going to add 99 damage.
Caught by the web.
Oh, 9 HP.
Trust me.
Let's get rid of him. I could then move here. Stab him again. And I thought that was going to trigger your weak point, but I guess it did not.
I will leave footprints of scarlet.
Next attack inflicts bleeding on all targets hits. Count as full cover.
I shall not fail.
We're going to do captive audience. We're going to do aim for the opening.
Trust me.
I'm going to backflip over him again.
Shadows will see your soul be purged.
How many more of these backflips do you have? Just one. So I think let's switch over to acrobatic artistry at this point. Till the end of combat. Yeah. Okay, so that's also like debuffing him a crazy amount. I have 500 lethality right now. Whoa. Thrill of Death. Inertia Boots. Forewarning. Why am I not seeing... Oh, there we go. Jin's Favor. Yeah. So we have 15 stacks of Jin's Favor right now. 28 to 38. 31 to 41. 25% additional crit damage. So I'm gonna trigger this guy again, and I'm just gonna say acrobatic artistry, and then she should just start doing crazy flips. It's like half his HP. Blade Dancer uses death from above, makes a melee dance attack against an enemy, and then attacks 6 more times. Buddy, I'm having a hard time saying no to that.
Death comes in silence. The undying emperor whispers his will. Blade
This is just
whispers
6
your name.
additional attacks.
Brings me no pleasure.
So he's dead. That problem is solved. You know what? He's dead.
The other side awaits.
That problem is solved. You still have more flips.
A dance of blades and shadows.
You're dead.
Killing brings me no pleasure.
You have another flip somehow? There's a combat servitor inside the wall here, so...
I am your blade and shield.
He's
The
dead.
other side awaits.
You got another flip unlocked.
As honor ordains. Killing
He's dead.
brings me no pleasure.
You got another flip unlocked. You just have infinite flips. Not sure we've ever seen all 5 flips. Or 6. It's a lot. It's a lot of flips. Heavy World, Fortress World, Tempestuous Carapace. I think we have this on Abelard right now, but maybe that might be better. And then the Halo device. 25 strength, toughness, agility, and perception. Use agility instead of intelligence, toughness instead of willpower, and strength instead of fellowship. Immune to injuries and traumas. Regenerates 2 wounds per turn. Whenever you kill an enemy, any damage they deal is increased by 1% until the end of combat. Willpower and fellowship are reduced by 1 until the end of combat. Is this the greatest item in the game that has no downsides? Can't be equipped by this character. Threat level, Fatalis Maxima. Recommendations: immediately consign the artifact to oblivion on a desolate world and report the coordinates to the Holy Inquisition. It is definitely a Necron item. This is slightly better. Less deflection, but 10% extra armor. 10 toughness. 2 deflection against range. Will I get that 10 toughness? Yeah, I will. Yeah, all right. We can rock that on you. Pretty sure it can only be used by the main character. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm looking at this and being like, can I rebuild my entire character? Like, this would allow you to be a psyker who uses toughness. Right? And an officer who uses strength. Feels like that would be a kind of crazy item. Let's take backdraft here. Alright. We already pass every persuasion check. Sometimes we fail coercion, so I think I'll put a point into that. Cover efficiency is increased by double, by 15%. Yeah, I wouldn't mind you getting things that keep you alive a little bit better. You've got that warp lore. Awareness is your other specialty, so you'll get that too. Big A. Bonus damage deflection. You've got carouse. Athletics is your other specialty. Precise attack gets a bonus to perception equal to the number of exploits until the end of combat. Stacks. Triggers an exploit to gain 1 damage and armor pen until the end of combat. First strike or projectiles in a burst attack. Bonus to perception. Bonus to damage. I'm going to take that bonus to damage. You've got logic. Take tech use. You don't know what you want. None of these are really fitting for what he does. Charge increases the damage of ranged attacks. No. Long range charge. 1 damage deflection and parry is increased by 25% of their total armor. I could take that. You know what? I'll take that. Why not? Every time you kill something, you get resolve. Yeah, I'll take that. You're taking demolition, and your other specialty is Medicaid. Thank you. 25 to 4 stats is pretty godlike. Yeah.
Embrace true power.
I obviously feel like if you put that item on also, you can probably never take it off. Which is, you know, not necessarily a bad thing. Just something to be aware of. I do really like it. It makes me very curious on... Like, you could clearly make a build around it, but I'm also like, okay, but how good is that build if you can only access it in the 4th act of the game? Made it through the jump, no problem. We have to visit Dargonis to deal with Abelard's quest line. So let's run in here and say hi to everybody. He said that the Warsarians were on trial for treason. Now, they've served me pretty well. They've also put up with my heresy thus far, even though they're kind of wankers. I don't necessarily want them in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, stand aside. No need to crowd around. Governor Drivestem will take care of everything. This is ridiculous. Such a thing happening right in the Rogue Trader's palace. We don't even know what happened. Do we want to take that item off? No, probably not. It does keep us alive forever. Though it does also corrupt us with I don't know what. You're confronted with a set of dead bodies at the entrance of the palace. The corpses have been hauled into a pile. Some are dressed in uniforms and palace wardens. Other ones are dressed as nobility. Your lordship, we're honored by your presence. What's this mess? These people wanted to attack Second Lieutenant of the Palace Guard, Elam Waite, reporting. Shortly before you arrived, we averted an assassination attempt on the rogue trader. The palace soldiers detected intruders and engaged them in combat. Observation. There are rare high-functioning servitor specimens present among the inspired units. Such specimens are traditionally bestowed upon the noble houses that are most loyal to the sacred fellowship of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The augments of the deceased do differ than the implants ordinary people wear. Their intricate construction makes it clear that the deceased were not ordinary humans. As far as I know, House Gaprak has received such servitors from the Crimson Priesthood as gifts in the past, though this is my first time seeing one myself. Why is the governor not here? I do not know. Perhaps he is, you can probably find him in the throne room where he intends to put House Warsarian on trial. Where is the court chancellor? She's with the rest of the house detained in the throne room. Drivestem has gathered all the nobility there to pronounce a guilty verdict against House Warsarian.
Over.
Crumpled up letter in the inside pocket of the assailant's blood-soaked jacket. Letter is soaked with blood. Careful and discreet. Keep away from the lords and ladies. You must look like a noble to the servants and wardens. Do not engage with conversation with anyone. Your task is to avoid exposing yourself ahead of time and let the Warsarians get away while the wardens are busy guarding the rogue trader. Investigations. Toss a coin.
Was a worthwhile investment.
To my Witcher? The coin falls into the clear bottom water and sinks to the bottom. When do I get my wish?
Let's seize the opportunity.
Pardon me, just being like, what if I click it 100 times? Will something happen? Are there any other clues around? Just out of curiosity. It doesn't look like it. This tree is clearly corrupted by chaos. I live to see that. Maybe I only need to throw it one more time? Oh, don't tell me like that. If not that time, then maybe one more time. Chili Joel, thank you for 51 months. Unreal. Welcome on in, dude. Hope you're doing well. You're enjoying the rogue trading. What is this?
That the crew were dismayed and confused to learn that your Xenos was not sedated after his antics.
The cattle think their opinions have value. You ought to train your lackeys better, rogue trader.
I'm not sure if these are all Drukhari things that's just like on the ground here, or if these are meant to be like chaos sigils. Mumbling a prayer to the Emperor.
Unexplored.
Blood. Blood. No. This is obviously the rabble. Let me through. I have an appointment with Chancellor Clementia Warsarian. My apologies, my lord, but you cannot go any further. Governor Drivestem's orders. This is ridiculous. I shall complain. Move over. Let his lordship, the rogue trader, through. Part of me thought he was going to be like, sorry, place is closed. Your lordship, please come this way. Well, I'd like to pop into my office first, but I guess I don't have a chance. Your lordship, it's an honor. Ooh, my throne is covered in blood. Governor Urban Drivestem seems to materialize out of thin air. So suddenly does he emerge from the crowd. I regret that such unfortunate circumstances have occasioned the rogue trader's visit to the capital. Clementia tries to take a step forward, but the warden stops her. Her face is veiled with fear and weariness. Your lordship, you're here. Please, you must hear us out. The rogue trader is undoubtedly here to listen to the testimony of each and every one of us and to punish the traitors. The governor's words, directed at Clementia, are harsh. They are echoed by the scornful sneers and whispers of the assembled nobles. We've known each other for many decades now, and we've always had our fair share of disagreements. But you really think my flesh and blood would trample upon the very definition of honor and loyalty? Abelard's voice is quivering with rage. The governor sweeps his gaze over Abelard, then replies, a faint shadow of doubt in his voice. We have evidence implicating them, Abelard. I am sure his lordship will arrive at a fair ruling. I don't know. I don't got time to kill them all. Nah. What are the charges against House Warsarian? Disruption of logistical lines, bribery of Adeptus administrative officials, document forgery, and organization of heretical insurrections. Oh, well, then they're not guilty. Let them keep doing whatever they're doing. On top of the evidently devastating economic impact this has had on your protectorate, these criminal acts have impeded the delivery of the imperial tithe, which in turn has drawn the administrator's attention. Needless to say, the Adeptus Arbites cannot ignore the situation either, and before their representatives arrive at the palace, we were obliged to identify and punish those responsible. What happened here in my absence? When we caught wind of the rumors of your disappearance, we patiently awaited news of your return, but then Dargonis was struck by a series of terrible events. The first was the sabotage of logistics that hampered shipments. The mass unrest spread across the planet, and the minor noble houses began squabbling, trying to pin the blame on their rivals. We took great pains to calm down and managed to quash the revolt, though not without some outside help. These events have also been overshadowed by the, I am ashamed to say it loud in front of you, your lordship, the rumors circulating among the higher houses. Some were calling for Theodore's true heir to be installed as head of your house, Conrad Voigtger. Not all your subjects has forgotten his past efforts for the benefit of the trade protectorate. When the investigation was launched, the evidence led us to the Warsarians. Why are there dead bodies at my entrance to my palace? I humbly beg your pardon. You see, right before your arrival, the palace guard discovered a plot to assassinate you. The malefactors were disposed of before they could cause you any harm. Drivestem, you aren't accusing one of Dargonius' leading noble houses of treason without airtight evidence, are you? Of course I have evidence, your lordship. The investigation has established that members of the Warsarian family, which is responsible for the fleet and its logistics, used their contacts and influence to forge a host of documents in order to undermine the planet's supply routes and economy, thus fomenting unrest among the inhabitants. Allow me to introduce my son Cornelius. He points at the lanky young man standing beside him, who bows curtly, but avoids meeting your eye. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the administrative palace, and it's thanks to him we managed to identify and trace the entire chain of forged documents. The investigation led us to the perpetrators who admitted to acting on orders of House Warsarian. It was their intent to spread the idea of restoring the title of rogue trader to the true heir. Look at the governor's son. Noticing the close attention of the rogue trader, the young man averts his gaze. His long face is sweating, and he presses his dry lips together tightly into a thin line. He seems to be afraid of something. Clementia, I wish to hear your account. Your lordship, House Warsarian denies all charges laid against it. These last few months have indeed been trying, but we've done our best to remedy the situation. My family's every effort was focused on stabilizing the capital's logistics and economy, so much so that we failed to notice the web of intrigue unfolding behind our backs. Speak to the heads of the houses. Do you support the governor's accusations? The aristocrats and attendant exchange glances. The noble lords avert their gazes, and the noble ladies hide behind their fans. No one is willing to be the first to answer. The Sourbacks say, over the many years of service Governor Drivestem earned Theodore's trust. He holds his high office for a reason. On behalf of House Sourback, I support his accusations. Toriana Gaprak says, Your Lordship, Governor Drivestem has always faithfully served the rogue traders of House von Valancius and concerned himself with the future of your trade dynasty. And so, House Gaprak thinks his charges against House Rosarian to be sound. The augmentics hide the emotion, but her voice sounds slightly Timori. Man, I feel like I'm trying to figure out whether people are lying and they're using words I've never seen before. Timorius, define. Showing or suffering from nervousness, fear, or a lack of confidence. I humbly ask you to allow me to speak in defense of my family's honor. The evidence provided by the governor is utterly false. I cannot refute it, but I can say with confidence that no one from my family has ever tried to forge documents in the Adeptus Administratum, let alone undermine the economy of your capital. This case appears to be flimsy. I wish to learn more before I make my final decision. As you wish, Your Lordship. Speak to me when you're ready to announce the verdict. I would be grateful for your help in exposing them. I think you should speak to everyone. I mean, I want to know who's up to no good here. Just timid? Kind of timid.
Intriguing.
Timid-ish. All right, well, let's start with the Rosarians. As you draw closer, the wardens step aside, bowing respectfully. Clementia, tired and disheveled, is the first to bow her head. In deference, several men and women follow behind. Your Lordship, accept my most humble apologies for failing to meet you properly. My thanks for agreeing to speak to me before making your final decision. The charges brought are severe, but I can only assure you this and swear on my own honor, we are not guilty of the crimes we're being accused of. Clementia, a hint of sorrow creeps into Abelard's voice, belaying his stern facade. You were acting head of the family. You were supposed to take care of each other and every family member. And now you're being accused of treason and collusion against the rogue trader, and the entire family is facing death. How could you let this happen? I found this letter on one of the bodies of the heretics. Your Lordship, let us be frank. It would be foolish for me to try and orchestrate something like this, knowing how many wardens are patrolling your palace. I would not have let myself or anyone in my family get involved in such a scheme. The attackers were high-functioning servitors, ones that look close to humans. Servitors, is that so? I've encountered servitors, but they were only indistinguishable from normal augmented humans once, but only once. They were accompanying several members of House Gaprak. I'm seeing a lot of things against House Gaprak here right now, so. Did not realize you could be an overseer psyker? Oh yeah, and it's very good. That's what Adira is. Are you guilty? Be honest, I won't tolerate lies. Abelard, it's your family too. My apologies, I should not lose my composure. No member of House Rosarian is involved in a conspiracy against his lordship. Honor and loyalty are not something we take lightly, and we know whom we serve. Governor claims you forged documents. The fleet is the primary remit of House Rosarian. It's our responsibility. Logistics and supply routes are another area of our responsibility. We have no direct influence over the inner workings of the administratum. The first large-scale deliveries were canceled after quantities of foods were miscalculated by clerks. They were faced with incorrect weather data and a meager fuel budget. It's clear the cause of these problems was the calculations performed in the administratum in one way or another, but no matter how many times we asked, we could not ever obtain any clarification on the matter. This does sound like just regular bureaucracy in 40k. If you're not guilty, who is? Anyone, really. The other houses consider us unworthy of our position, and many would jump at the chance to get rid of us. Lady Theodora chose to grant noble status to House Rosarian, but the other houses, which have served for millennia, did not welcome the decision. Where do you recommend I start looking? Talk to the other representatives and eavesdrop. Okay.
Powers unseen, uncover
Wardens,
my path.
servants. Please let me go, my lord. The Drivestems. Governor Drivestem is surrounded by his retinue, who are dressed in expensive gowns and finery. The matching color schemes of their outfit and striking physical resemblance suggest they all come from one family. Thank you for giving the case your undivided attention. What do you make of this letter? I found it on the assailants. Looks like another piece of evidence incriminating House Rosarian. Perhaps they truly did intend to kill you, or at least cause a stir to help them escape custody. All the assailants were high-functioning servitors. High-functioning servitors? Such servitors are indeed rare, and the Gapraks do have them in their service, but this could have been done intentionally with an eye to confuse you. Anyone with the desire and sufficient funds can hire them. Tell me more about your son. Thank you for your interest, but I'm not worthy of it. He stares nervously at the floor. Son, show him due respect. Forgive him, your lordship. This is the first time he's had the honor of attracting the attention of the rogue trader. Tell me more about your job. What do you do? I manage the documents and records related to the economy of Dargonis. You probably know how scrupulous the workers of the administratum are. I'm more afraid that a detailed explanation of my duties would mirror the administrative process of the administratum. Too long and overly detailed. He tries to look you in the eye, but it's clearly hard for him to do. Well, maybe he's just a little artistic. How do you manage to find the forged documents in the bureaucratic hell of the administratum? When compiling reports on the last cycle's supply chain, I noticed inaccuracies and discrepancies. With the help of other clerks, I managed to find several other documents. Comprehensive data analysis has shown that the discrepancies were caused by internal tampering with the data, thus leading to some logistical problems that were practically unsolvable. Father and I have managed to single out the administrative clerks responsible. Following a heated interrogation, they confessed that they were following the orders of someone from House Rosarian. Someone was supposed to look as though they were the ones suffering losses from the logistical and economic problems. But does House Rosarian have access to the administratum? There's no conceivable way they could do this in a place they don't hold any power. Before replying, the governor's son nervously adjusts his expensive frock coat. I think the right amount of money can open any door. Cornelius, why are you nervous? The young man's pupils suddenly dilate. He stands at attention and replies to you. This is the first time I've spoken face to face with a rogue trader. I'm afraid of saying something wrong or forgetting something important. He is afraid. Yes, there's enough fear in this front to feed a small squad. The governor closely watches his son. His tone changes, now sounding strict and curt. Do you wish to tell the Lord Captain anything else? Oh, we could just be mean to him. You're speaking. Place your hand on your weapon. You're speaking to a rogue trader, and my patience is running out. Forgive me, your lordship. I can't do it anymore. This lie has gone too far, and I can no longer control it. The truth is, all the logistical problems were caused by a single error in the numbers. My mistake. What? Says Governor Urban Drivestem. When I discovered the mistake, it was almost impossible to restore the supply lines. Then I was approached by someone who said they were a friend. They didn't give me their name, and I never saw their face. They promised to fix the problem, and all I had to do was pretend the Rosarians were responsible. For the rest of the evidence, they promised to arrange it all, and he is unable to speak. What have you done? How could you, your lordship? This is my fault. I trusted my son, and I failed you in doing so. I beg you have mercy. And you called my family honors into question, Urban. Nevertheless, I harbor no desire to kick a man when he is down. Lord Captain, the confession you have obtained means that House Rosarian can be cleared of all charges. But we still do not know who is behind the forgeries, the riots, the plot, and the assassination attempt. Someone is committing the foul deeds of sowing chaos right under your subjects' noses. But that wouldn't be me. Leave that stone unturned would be dangerous. Who is the friend that approached you? How did you communicate? By letter. I received a letter out of the blue one day, and it was unsigned, but the person writing me knew about my erroneous calculations. They offered to help me cover up my misdeed, and in return, I would name the Rosarians as the one who would sabotage the supply lines. All I had to do was gather together some documents and reports that were listed in the letters, and then keep my mouth shut. Well, this sounds like murder to me. Cornelius Driveston, I hereby sentence you to death immediately. One problem solved today for the rogue trader. The governor stares at the lifeless body of his son for some time, barely moving a muscle. With trembling lips, he suddenly speaks in a surprisingly firm voice. Thank you, your lordship. This is a disgrace to my family. I hope I can atone for it. I'm going to return to you later. Lucky I don't kill all of you. And in fact, I might still. Sourbacks. Your lordship? Hector Sourback, looking like a younger copy of his father, stands at a slight distance, close to his mother. The expensive yet understated dress serves to highlight the dazzling beauty of the Macaricus' wife, Regina Sourback. The Sourback patriarch's eyes are trained upon Mara's eye. It seems as if the air itself has grown heavy. With visible effort, he turns his gaze back to you. Look closely at Macarius. Despite Sourback's attempts to suppress his revulsion, the presence of inhumans in your retinue undoubtedly reflects his fervent desire to eliminate the enemies of humanities. Do my companions distress you, Sourback? His face turns red, his furious gaze trained upon you. Free-flowing rage boils into every word. The rogue trader is the chosen servant of the Emperor and one of humanity's best. By surrounding yourself with depraved Xenos who scorn the very exceptionalism of humankind, you teeter on the brink of heresy, and no privilege granted by the Emperor can blind others to that fact. The thought of existing in the same sector as Xenos is revolting, but their presence in your retinue here in the capital of the Von Valancius trade dynasty enrages me. To have Xenos sullying the streets of this planet after what we endured, and under the protection of the rogue trader, no less. Not only of what he's the one who masterminded that whole attack, you know? Sacrificing an entire noble line to our gods could only be a good thing to us? I mean, that's true. That's true. I figure every time I kill someone, it's just blood for the blood gods, so... Sourback takes a deep breath and exhales noisily. His rage subsides, but the burning gaze remains fixed on you. With a pained and distressed expression, Regina glances at her husband, her hands worrying the ruffles on her dress. Maybe we should try to bang Regina again. That was a very fun event last time we did it. Do you really believe that Werserians are guilty? Certainly. Governor Drivestem possesses proof of their guilt, and they have no means to which to refute it. If I were to entertain the idea that the Werserians are being framed, how much longer would their house have lasted anyway if it's so ill prepared for treachery? He mocks at Abelard. My advice to House Werserian would be not to appeal to the rogue trader for help, but to simply stop, accept their fate, and make matters worse. I cannot remember because Turg von Valencia is seeking your advice on what House Werserian should do. Pay attention, Macarius. Focus on the rogue trader's questions. Your unveiled hatred for me is obvious, Sourback. It's ground enough to charge you with heresy. I'm hearing this from you, the Emperor's servant who flouts all that's sacred, the person who seems to think the laws of this Imperium are meaningless. Macarius, now is a time when you would do well to stop and not make matters worse for yourself. Who, apart from the Werserians, could have motive to conspire against me? House Drivestem, wishing to expand their clout. House Gaprak, who lost their influence after the Cab-Gamma incident. House Sourback, whose patriarch is too direct in his communications with the rogue trader. Anyone could have a reason to conspire against you, and equally they could have none. It's not a question of motive, but of loyalty. Each of your subjects has sworn an oath of loyalty. Whose sincerity do you doubt? Well, you, obviously. The assailants sent were rare, high-functioning servitors. Could Gaprak have been behind it? I always thought Toriana too weak to participate in such risky ventures, but it seems I was wrong about her. Can I talk to Regina? No.
Let's see.
All right, well, let's see what the Gapraks have to say. The lords and ladies, sumptuously dressed in the colors of House Gaprak, are standing in a half circle around Toriana and her son Vincent. Their bodies and faces of almost every member of this dynasty are covered in large, ornate augmetics. Here's the thing, right? While there's a lot of things pointing to Gaprak, I'm also like, the Gaprak's son is in love with Clementia. And Lady Gaprak likes me because I let her talk to Pascal. And I invited Pascal to the thing. So, honestly, the Sourback seemed like the obvious choice. Is my mic out of sync? You might just need to refresh the stream. I hope it's not out of sync. That'd be very confusing. Gaprak curtsies to you. Her mechanical voice sounds distant and indifferent. Greetings, your lordship. May the Omnisaya grant you understanding. Abelard, it must be difficult for you to be here under these circumstances with your house standing accused of such grave crimes. They all hate Turg. They do. My family, Lady Toriana, is yet to be found guilty of anything. That verdict is for the rogue trader to reach. Do you think the accusations against the Werserian family are true? I would not take such a responsibility upon myself and rule on their guilt, your lordship. I do think the accusations are worthy of consideration, however. In your opinion, which nobles might have reason to be party to such a conspiracy? Pardon my bluntness, but I will answer truthfully. It could be anyone. Yes, of course. I've examined the bodies of the assailants that were killed, and all of them included high-functioning servitors, which are only employed by families close to the AdMech. Isn't that so? It's impossible to read her emotions in the heavily augmented face, but her sudden turn towards her family betrays her confusion and surprise. Perplexed whispers bounce from one family to another. Impossible. We came here by ourselves without any servitors. We know nothing about it. Your lordship, thank you for informing us of this. You're absolutely right. My house has indeed been endowed with high-functioning servitors, a blessing for those who revere the Omnisaya, but today, none of our house members were accompanied by them. I found this note. What are your thoughts? Officially, high-functioning servitors are employed by my house and my house alone. If such units were to attack the rogue trader, suspicion would instantly fall upon us. I assume this is what the Werserians intended to happen, but they didn't expect the servitors would have a letter on them. Vincent, I want to speak with you. Ready to serve, your lordship. What do you think of the charges against the Werserians? I don't think I can doubt the validity of the accusations, but his voice trails off and he seems to retreat into himself. I'm also not sure that House Rosarian had a reason to betray you, your lordship. I don't know any of the instances where their loyalty to you and their emperor was anything less than unwavering. I know you care for Astarta Warsarian. Are you prepared to watch her die? His jaw augmetic screeches slightly. The young man scrutinizes his mother and other family members. There's something you ought to know, your lordship. Today, I noticed one of my family members to be in an odd, uncharacteristic mood. Halen Gaprak is my paternal second cousin once removed. May the Emperor save his soul. Usually reserved and self-possessed, today he was frantic and anxious, fidgeting with a small piece of paper and seemingly looking to someone to no avail. When I last saw him, he was headed to the entrance hall where the altars are. Perhaps you should talk to him. I must take my leave. Well, we're getting some good information here. You know, part of me thinks it's like everyone is going to be involved in this. And it's like a three-way frame job. I'm just making sure there's no clues in other rooms.
World trembles beneath my...
So, this is obviously the Gaprak guy down here. Halen Gaprak, yeah. I knew you were out of position. A finely dressed man in middle years is kneeling in front of the altar, his palms folded in prayer close to his face. The implant-free parts of his skin are sickly blue. He does not react to your presence. He does not lift his head. He does not blink. He does not breathe. Only when you draw close do you realize he's dead. The colors of House Gaprak. I do not believe he decided to take his own life in such an extravagant way. As far as I know, there's a warden post here, but I don't see any wardens. There's no one to ask about what happened here and whom this man spoke to before he died. I would like to ask Urband where the palace guard suddenly disappeared to. Cabela quickly examines the body. This man was poisoned, a paralyzing toxin. The victim cannot scream, call for help, attract attention, or even breathe. It's a good tool for silent killing. I've made use of it in the past. There are no visible wounds on the body, but near the edge of the gold-trimmed collar, you notice tiny punctures in his skin, literally a wound caused by a thin needle. You discover a secret pocket in the lining of the dead man's coat. You find a piece of paper inside, hiding behind a handkerchief embroidered with the initials HG. Make sure the rogue trader is attacked by someone loyal. It should appear as if this was all staged to let the Warsarian family escape. This is the last assignment. Soon your debt will be paid off in full. You're almost certain the wardens are usually stationed nearby, but their post is empty. Where are they gone?
The world will bow.
Could this just be the Cult of the Final Dawn stirring stuff up? I wish our Sourback lady was here. Oh, yeah, like the captain of our guard. I do feel like I wish she was more involved in things, so... I did read that apparently the first time you meet her, you can bang her right away in like the initial dialogue. Abelard's family's fine. The rest can be sacrificed to the gods. I mean, I'll sacrifice all the families, including Abelard's, to the gods if it gets me closer to plunging everything into chaos. I'm sorry. Don't I have a clue to talk to you about? I want to know where the guards were.
Intriguing.
Is there somebody else I need to talk to here about that? Ah, here we go. I discovered a dead body in my palace, a man of House Gaprak who killed while praying to the Emperor. You know what? Let's actually talk to the Gapraks first. A member of your house died here in my palace, kneeling in prayer. Covers her mouth and her hand in surprise and turns to her family looking for someone. Halen, it can't be. Halen, was it? Tell me about him, Toriana. He's a lower-ranking member of House Gaprak. Despite his advanced age, he never held high office, but he was forever striving to better his position, even beyond his abilities. Many members of my house struggled to cope with the misfortune that befell Kiabagama and her family. Some of them could not reconcile themselves to the new position. Halen was one of them. What could have happened to him? Toriana, the time to keep silent is long gone. The future of House von Valancius' trade dynasty and your house are at stake. We lost Kiabagama, a truly devastating blow to every member of the house. I lost all hope for the future, and my kin lost all sense of purpose. We needed time to recover and chart a new course. We were and still are more than capable of doing that, but I will not deny it. The other houses have offered us their assistance for their own self-serving ends. Perhaps Halen decided to take them up on one of the offers behind my back. Lord Captain, the Gapraks, all of them, or perhaps only some of them, are definitely involved, but I suspect that they were not behind the plot against you. Halen Gaprak could be nothing more than a puppet in the hands of a deft puppet master. We must expose whoever that is if we are to prevent the pestilence of heresy from spreading any further. I'm listening. Interrogate the heads of Drivestem and Sourback. One of them has been pulling the strings here. Once we uncover new evidence, announce that the guilty party will be publicly executed. Before you pronounce the verdict, I suggest focusing on each house in your indictment speech, and I will observe them. I have known these people far longer than you. I know all their gestures, habits, and behavioral quirks. I'm sure I will be able to determine which of them was responsible for the riots based on their behaviors. Okay.
I tread a path unexplored.
Well, we might as well talk to him. Nope, I don't know anything about that. He says, obviously sussy. Let's do a little quick save and get into the investigation. Now I can talk to you about all these other things. I found a dead body in my palace. A member of House Gaprak was slain in front of an altar. Did you know anything about it? A member of House Gaprak was in the palace, and no one noticed how their wardens posted at every altar. Not near the deceased. They left their post. Emperor forbid, your lordship. He throws his hands up in the air as if to signify his powerlessness. Your negligence is stunning, Urbend. An assassination attempt followed by a mysterious death, and yet here you are, oblivious to everything. The rogue trader can justly accuse you of allowing a noble to be killed in the palace, or even failing to notice it. It may be so, but it's for the rogue trader to accuse me of negligence, not you. Your lordship, accept my deepest apologies for my imprudence. Nothing matters more to me than my honor. I shall send the servants to deal with this immediately. Did you see Halen Gaprak before I arrived? I did not see him, but perhaps did any of you see him? The nobles talk quietly amongst themselves, and then a middle-aged woman with a tall, extravagant hairstyle replies, I think my sister and I saw him sitting on the bench some distance away from the palace's entrance, accompanied by a gentleman, but forgive us, your lordship, we could not make out his face. Lead me to that place. Of course, consider it done.
Let's seize the opportunity.
This couldn't have been a cutscene.
Imperium guides
Lord
my
Gaprak
gaze.
conversing with someone here, your lordship.
The whispers told me how.
I recognize this bouquet. House Sourback usually serves this wine. Well, that pretty much cinches it.
Embrace true power.
I think that pretty much cinches it to Sourback. They obviously make the most obvious choice. But also, like, Drivestem seems to be, like, exceptionally incompetent. And I do wonder if he pulled the guard, and then what if he planted the wine? It could be him. He just seems like too incompetent to do anything. Summon everyone. Down with both of them? Yeah, right? That's not how you sit in a chair. Many faces are watching you, each and every one awaiting the rogue trader's verdict with bated breath. The charges brought by Governor Drivestem were fabricated. House Rosarian had nothing to do with the orchestration or the riots or the plot targeting the rogue trader. However, the real perpetrators are here in the very room. The seneschal nods to you as if urging you to continue, then shifts his piercing gaze towards the crowd. I mean, I guess I just have like super awareness for all of these because of Adira. I will say, Urbage Drive Sim has exhibited inexcusable negligence by failing to question the possible involvement of other families. We've discovered that an attempt on my life was orchestrated by a member of House Gaprak. Or we could just be like... I mean, they're all so awful. Let's focus just in on DriveStim for the moment. The governor closes his eyes, fear and shame getting the better of him. Some faces in the crowd look confused and surprised, but more are wearing expressions of self-satisfied contempt. Abelard looks from the governor to you and subtly shakes his head as if to say it's not the DriveStims pulling the strings. Macaricus, you just suck. I could complicate you regardless. The crowd remains silent with only their tense, anxious gaze darting back and forth between you and Macaricus. Sourback's brow raises higher and you notice his jaw working nervously. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes him and his retinue standing behind him. For a second, his sharp eye seems to have caught something, if only to lose track of it in the next moment. A disappointed sigh tells you it could be a Sourback, but is he really the one behind this? Well, I know that they offered their house to the Gapraks and that the late Helen Gaprak seems to have accepted an offer. Sourback furrows his brows and slightly cocks his head. He averts his gaze for the first time as if trying to remember or make sense of something. You notice some restless movements behind him. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes Sourback and his retinue. His sharp eyes light up when he catches sight of something important and hidden in the crowd. The Seneschal looks at you and nods. The puppeteers have given themselves away. Pronounce the verdict. I mean, I just want to do all these tests because we have them. We have discovered that the attempt on the life was orchestrated by a member of House Gaprak, but our governor DriveStim exhibited inexcusable negligence. The governor closes his eyes, fear and shame getting the better of him. It's not the DriveStims. Toriana, a member of your family orchestrated an assassination attempt against me here in my own palace. Though he's already been found dead, his act is reason enough to brand your house as traitors. Mocking whispers creep through the crowd. Toriana is trembling. She does not raise her head, perhaps out of fear. The Seneschal's hard gaze softens an elusive gesture. Toriana Gaprak is guilty only of her own poor judgment. In the conspiracy against the rogue traitor, I find the air in the room is frozen with a tense, almost electrified silence. All the nobles, some with fear and others with reverent anticipation, await your verdict. Well, House Sourback is guilty. The head of your family has never tried to hide his attitude towards me. That's more than enough to convict him. No, House Sourback is guilty. Abelard, you do the rest of this. You're the one who makes these announcements. And you'll also get a ton of satisfaction from this. Yeah, surprisingly, I'm not able to pick all of them, nor am I able to pick DriveStim. Abelard steps forward and stares intently at House Sourback. Macarius, I must admit I have always admired your bluntness, but just as I once had to say goodbye to a promotion because of my dislike for intrigue, you and your family may soon say goodbye to their heads. Tell me now in your blunt fashion, are you loyal to House von Valancius? Sourback narrows his eyes, grimacing. I am loyal, Worsarian. He studies Sourback, then nods. You're not lying, but someone else is. Someone who is poised to destroy both you and your family for her own gain. Macarius does not have time to respond. Regina, who is standing beside him, raises her arm as if to slap the elderly Seneschal. Abelard deftly catches her wrist, stopping her hand right in front of his face. Her dainty hand is adorned with a massive augmentic ring topped with a thin spike dripping with venom. Good catch. Sourback shifts his confused gaze from his wife to Abelard and then back again. The stiff arrogance vanished from his posture. Regina, you! Mother! Upon realizing what has happened, Hetika recoils from his mother. Macarius, your bluntness made you an open book. When I talked about helping the Gapraks, you had no idea what I was referring to. Your wife, on the other hand, her eyes started shifting like you would not believe. Regina Sourback, you alone betrayed the rogue trader, jeopardizing the prosperity of the von Valancius trade dynasty, and you alone are responsible for your unmasking. Regina, why would you do this? Is it because I embarrassed you the last time you were in town? Because Dargonis is serving an imposter. The true heir of the Protectorate bears a different name. When Kunrad appeared on Dargonis, he paid me a visit and opened my eyes to the truth of the situation. Theodora was killed by the one whom she had so unwarily taken under her wing. Macarius is too narrow-minded to even consider opposing the rogue trader, even an illegitimate one, so I had to wait for the right moment, and the disappearance of the Lord Captain could not have come at a better time. It was quite simple to trigger a chain of events on Dargonis so that the people remembered Master Voidgear's past service. It seems that many of your subjects do not actually consider you a worthy successor. Who aided you? Oh, of course I didn't do it on my own. I have too many helpers to list them all, but rest assured there are plenty of them. Just as there are people who follow Master Voidgear, my death will not change anything. The true rogue trader will come and take his rightful place when the time is right. Why there were Syrians? Because when stripped of the Seneschal's protection, this house is the weakest of them all, and they're also practically disliked by the governor's family. It would have been easy to bury the Syrians under heresy. Why did you kill Helen Gaprak? They were a good agent, but also a coward. He came to me just before our formidable rogue trader arrived and was ready to confess everything. I suggested that he plead for the Emperor's forgiveness first, and he did grant them mercy, did he not? Abelard, finish this off. Does the rogue trader condemn only the rotten apple or the entire barrel? I am a noble. I might be a heretic, but I'm still a noble. I'll not exterminate an entire noble line that's loyal to me because of one traitor. In the same way that I can't kill all the drive stems. Barrel of fun. But they hate Turg? Yeah, but they're still loyal, man. There's still like nobility to consider here. More blood for the blood god? Nah, I don't know, man. Because they're more evil than everybody else, so. In that case, Regina Sourback shall be subjected to intense interrogation, followed by execution. You get a liquefier shot once per round. Damn, dude. They are loyal, right? I gotta balance the being a noble thing. By order of the rogue trader, Regina Sourback is sentenced to death for heresy and crimes against the von Valencia's trade dynasty. Also, I feel like the Sourbacks are going to work harder now to like make up for the shame that they've been given. Wow, that's a pretty rough way to go. Get like vivisected by an AdMech priest. She's definitely feeling that pain. I think I saw an Ogren there as well, which we've never seen in the game yet. I'm a noble, slaughter them all. We'll work harder in fighting heresy. Well, who knows? When the nobles disperse, sated by the bloody performance, Abelard approaches you. Lord Captain, you have my thanks. A rogue trader should not waste time on the matters that his servants and trustees can resolve, but in this case, your intervention was necessary. Regina Sourback, evidently Kunrad's accomplice, continue to plot against your protectorate. I fear we have not heard the last of such scoundrels. Thanks to your Lord Captain, House Rosarian is saved, though it came close to being wiped out as a result of scheming without imprudence. Sometimes I think about how much I could teach if I could ensure that they survive in the future without me. Like, I wonder what happens if you put the Sourbacks in charge of the dynasty instead of the drive stems. This event must change dramatically depending on which family you put in charge. You and your family must be prepared for the next time something like this happens. That's true, they need to be prepared for it, and I want to believe they will be able to take care of themselves. I need to reflect upon what happened. I think I'll be ready to resume this conversation back on the ship. Talk to Abelard on the ship. You got anything new for me? No. Then let's head to the bridge. Gonna top put Rosarian in charge eventually, so I'll let you know. Okay, I'm very, very curious. Yeah, it's got to be like way different if she's the governor, because then it's like a full-blown mutiny. I'm also curious, like, what happens if you put Sourbacks in charge? Does it just happen? We might as well just talk to Big A right away. Let's wrap up this quest.
Lord Captain.
Lord Captain. Oh,
Allow me to express my gratitude once again for your assistance.
so nice.
If it weren't for your intervention, my entire family could have been executed on false charges. I could have lost them all. I never imagined the Versarians would be so vulnerable while I serve as seneschal to the Lord Captain himself, far from home. To tell you the truth, Lord Captain, this whole situation has got me thinking. As patriarch of the Versarian family, I have a responsibility to my bloodline. Yes, it is my duty to serve as seneschal to the rogue trader, and I have no intention of relinquishing that role, if you find my service as satisfactory as did Lady Theodora. However, if I could be more involved in my family's affairs, and still serve the von Valancius dynasty.
I told Abelard that with the coming to power, the established procedures would change. What do you want? Tell me plainly.
Under Lady Theodora, I served as steward of the Trade Protectorate on more than one occasion. In that capacity, I was based on Dargonis, rather than traveling with the rogue trader on the flagship. If it would be possible, after the immediate need for my presence is over, I would like to return to that position. To oversee the Trade Protectorate on the capital world, while at the same time presiding over the Versarian family, and using my authority to help elevate it.
So this is like obviously like what happens to him after the credits roll. Traditions in the old way must change, or I cannot let you go. You're an indispensable part of my crew. I'm going to say that after the Expanse, the immediate crisis in the Expanse is past, that he can return to Dargonis, because I expect Dargonis, like every planet, is going to be infused with heresy and probably turned into some kind of demon world. And I'm willing to sacrifice Abelard to the demons.
Thank you, Lord Captain. Under my watch, the Trade Protectorate will remain safe and prosper in service to you.
It also just feels like the right thing to do.
It is time I return to my duties. Is there anything else I can do for you, Lord Captain?
Good end? I feel like Abelard's getting the good end there. But that's heresy. Listen, man, we get to keep him with us for the meantime. That's all that really matters. As long as we have the big A, the tank, smashing his way through all of our problems, we should be fine. And, you know, if he's on the planet, then maybe, I don't know, it falls into some kind of chaos. Unidentified anomaly on Narmer V. We got Solomorn condemned on Vabos 6. And then we'll have to loop back through here to go to the forewarning. And then we'll come back down, go through Orselio Prophecy for the Xenos skirmish. These are not actually doable, and then straight to Footfall. Awesome. Okay. We're in good shape here. These are all mostly green paths as well. A little yellow this way, but should be okay. Libby, how we doing? You guys were right. Thrones of Britannia is fun. I told you, it's a good game. It's a good game. I think with the end of that trial, this is the perfect place for us to cut the video. So we hope everybody comes back and join us as we wrap up the rest of these quests and go save Solomorn next time.